stopping at the University Park Public Library to welcome a homegirl back to us, Diane Muhammad, who used to be our director of UPTV. At that time, was it Channel 4 and Channel 10 at the time? You don't have Channel 10 anymore, I think. In the meantime, my name is Loretta Burgess. I'm one of the librarians here at UPTV, affectionately, hopefully affectionately known as Miss B by the kids here in the at the library. Okay. So, in the meantime, I'm going to let Miss Muhammad, in her own way, share her experience as an Olympia track and field runner and give us a little bit about her book. And welcome, Miss Diane.
Hi. First of all, I'd just like to thank the audience for coming into my little space here at the library, and I want to thank thank you, Ms. Burgess. See, it's been a while since I've been back to University Park, but that's no excuse. I want to thank Ms. Burgess for giving me the opportunity to talk a little bit about who I am and why I decided to write a book after 20 years, and to just give the community a little bit of understanding about the world of track and field and the Olympics. My name is Diana Muhammad. I made 2 Olympic teams under Diane Williams. This is my first book, and I decided to write this book simply because I was one of the athletes who was put into an arena where I didn't really know a lot about being a professional athlete, and I was recruited by a coach in California who were very interested in me. I grew up on the south side of Chicago, and I started my track and field career when I was 10 years old. And that's really, really small. But I just enjoyed running. I used to run all over the place. And actually, it was my mom who actually got me started. She would take the neighborhood children, and she would have like a mason jar full of coins, and she would have these race contests. And of course, you know, I would always win. I used to beat the girls and the guys, and I just had a lot of money. I just collected money. But I just really enjoyed running, and I had a passion for it. And from that moment on, I continued to run, and I continued to, well, my career started at 10, and I didn't know exactly where it would take me. But I got involved with Ralph Metcalf, who was one of the Olympians back in the 30s. He ran against Bob Beamon and Jesse Owens, and he started a youth track club, and I was a part of that youth track club. And I do have a picture in the book that you can see how small I was. I look so cute with a little afro puff, and I was just a cute little thing. But I always, his inspiration, his aspiration got me on that level of being a track and field athlete. And I said to myself one day, even when I was at 10 years old, that I would make an Olympic team. And my dream to make the Olympic team did happen. So from that time that I was a part of the Ralph Metcalf Youth Foundation Track Club, I also continued to compete in Chicago and winning a lot of medals and ribbons and, you know, the whole 9 yards. And I got involved with Chicago Zephyrs Track Club, and that was a youth track club. And from there, I competed for Dunbar High School in Chicago, and I became the city and state champ in my senior year, running the 100 and 200. And that allowed me to get a scholarship at Michigan State, a full scholarship, academic and athletic scholarship. And I competed for Michigan State, and I also made the 1980 Olympics while I was at Michigan State. And of course, in 1980, President Carter boycotted the Olympics because of the invasion of Afghanistan at the time. So my Olympic dream was only my reality because I never really competed, but I was excited. I got a chance to go to the White House and meet President Carter, and my mom also traveled with me because she really loved President Carter at that time. He did really great things for the people, so she got a chance to visit him too, and she was really excited. And my mom, you know, she's really a reserved kind of woman, but when she met President Carter, it was like the highlight of her life. So I think that was a great thing, and she really appreciated that. Then I got my first opportunity to run or to compete overseas, international. I get to run with the Russians, the Germans, the East Germans, other athletes. So I got my first taste of running overseas. So I'm like, this must be really a good thing. So although my dream of making the 1980 Olympics was only my reality, but I said, okay, I know if I can make this Olympic team the next 4 years in 1984, I can continue to make the Olympic team. So I just want to go back. While I was at Michigan State at the Olympic trials, there was a gentleman called Chuck Divas. He was very popular in Los Angeles. He had the best women's track club ever for 17 years. They were unstoppable, unbeatable. They was very well known. And he actually had one of his athletes to talk to me at the Olympic trials. And I said, oh, okay. She said, well, he wanted to meet me, and she said, we got this great track club, and we want you to be a part of it. So I was like, well, I don't know, because first of all, I was still at Michigan State, and I said, well, I believe I need to stay in Michigan State, but she continued to talk to me, and she was like, you know, Hollywood, and, you know, I was 18, 19. I'm like, okay, Hollywood, that might be a good place for me to go. Also, as a child, I had a dream of becoming famous in Hollywood. Oh, just being in Hollywood with the convertible top, the Hollywood sign, and I was like, this really piqued my interest. So I continued to talk to her, and a year later, while I still was at Michigan State, I talked to the coach, and we kind of kept talking and talking, and I had an injury in 1981, so I never really competed for Michigan State after 81. And when you're not famous and you're not really on top of your game, then they don't really pay you too much attention. So I say, well, that was a good opportunity for me to say, okay, maybe I can do well in California. I wanted to be with the best. In order to be with the best, you know, you want to be there. So anyway, to make a long story short, I did wind up going to California. I was given a place to stay, a car to drive, I had stipend, I had scholarship, I mean, the whole 9 yards, being recruited like a professional athlete. So that was like a great opportunity for me. And in the course of that time, I began to start training with the Los Angeles Naturite Track Club, and they specialize in vitamins, like multivitamins. And it was like the perfect opportunity, perfect environment. Everything was like, man, this is great. Oh, wow. You know, I was excited. So excited, so excited. I was too excited, I guess. So everything was just working well for me. And the coach decided, okay, he gave me an unmarked white bottle of pills. They looked like vitamins. He told me they were vitamins. Okay, I took them. And over the course of 2 or 3 months, okay, I started seeing some changes in my body. You know, I had a real rigid weight schedule. I had a real rigid training schedule, and I was really strong. I was looking like, oh my God, my arms, and I was looking really buff. I was looking like I was making a metamorphosis change, you know, from being feminine to becoming kind of masculine, if you know what I'm saying. I do have a picture in the book, and I'm going to go to right quick. And this is after a year. This is how I look, if he can zoom in on this picture. I don't know if you guys can see it, but that's what the effects of steroid has done to my body. It has changed my arms, my facial features, my legs. I mean, it just did so many drastic changes to me. And when this happened, I thought, okay, of course, something's wrong. And I did confront the coach, and I was like, well, what is this that you're giving? Oh, they just vitamins. All your teammates are taking them. Evelyn Ash was taking them. And I said, well, why are these changes happening to me?